say this. Most people call this a blunt. This is sage. Okay? It's sage. You can really just burn it. That's really what a lot of the tribes used to do back then. They used to just burn it, put their head in, come back out, whoop, whoopie whoop. It clears the energy, the sinuses, some more shit. And when that airway is able to come through, what does that create? A frequency, a currency. Okay? This is not what this video is about. This is some random shit. I'm just showing y'all what they doing with these clouds. So when you remember the Holocaust was talking about gas chambers and some more shit. And they had different gases which did different things on different parts of the region. Oh shit, almost bust my ass. Oh boy. But yeah, different parts of the region, okay? But I'm starting to think these gases and chambers dealt with different density levels in the atmosphere, carbon levels, and dimensions. Because every year since we denote into a higher state, like the ether level is at an 8 baseline dealing with the UVC radiation. I mean, it's been at an 8 before for the past 2-3 years, but it's at a baseline, meaning it's at 8 and higher, not 6 and higher or 7 or higher. It's at 8 and higher, meaning the UVC radiation is extremely high and is going to be even more higher moving forward. I told y'all, April 27th is a checkpoint, right? After April 1st, that was the new year, but April 27th going into May 8th was the checkpoint, really May 19th. But that was a checkpoint for denote into a higher state. It's 4 phases of the year. Every 3 months it denotes into a higher state. It's just, it aligns around the Lionsgate portal, okay? So we at the beginning, the first phase of the 8 ether cycle. So memory-wise, it's going to match up with history. But the thing is matching up on some BC and AD because those are 2 parallels of time. It's not really your past and most of your past shit is like recycled energy, okay? So like in algebra, A plus B equals C, okay? So we're in Gemini season, right? And I say Geminis connect. You have a parentheses up and a parentheses down with 2 parallel lines. So it's saying connecting above and below and 2 parallels, but if you put it to the side, it's an I. And it's dealing with two flip realities, okay? So when A plus B comes together, that's like your red and your blue sun, your red star and blue star coming together, okay? Which denotes the UV, the purple light, okay? And that's what y'all mostly seeing now. That started to come together, now is denoting once A plus B equals C. That's the letter for G, and G is actually the force. So when you looking at magnetism deals with force, okay? And the force is dealing with the gravitational pull, or G, okay? Because it's really dealing with the density levels, okay? So A plus B, if you look at it on a diamond, you have your AB, you have your AD, and you have your BC, that's parallel lines. Okay, we're not dealing with squares, we're dealing with parallelograms, dealing with parallels and shit. So we're dealing with a square at a tilt, which is a parallelogram. Because when we're on an elliptical orbit, everything is at a tilt, okay? The tilt represents the 33rd degrees. Okay? So that's obviously dealing with a split, and it's also dealing with these four corners. It's just the split reality is dealing with the letters E, F, G, H. And all of that deals with time, above and below, and center. Because the center represents the plane. Are you at, because you always above, you always below, inner and outer. It's just, are you at your peace? Are you at your center point energy while you're on the plane? Because you're always dealing with above, below, in and out. That's why it's reflections of you. Everything is a reflection of your brain during this simulation. Because this is a Mu dealing with the moon. Moon. Okay? Moon is just N pronounced the N. And Mu pronounced the M. So M and N is Eminem. M and N is just moon. Okay? So Mu and Nu is moon. And reverse is unum. And everyone sides some shit that ties to the unum sanctum. Okay, so the unum sanctum is literally a brain sanctum. So I'm telling y'all brain science, okay? And they're gonna be releasing shit that I say a lot too. Right? That's how you force them to say shit. You release truth. You ground, put it in the ethers, truth. Either way you choose to do it, do it. If you want to communicate some shit and you think you got to make a YouTube, you don't. Go ground, send the intent. Facts. Yeah, so A plus B equals C. C represents gamma. Gamma is that green energy that's represented in your brain. But when you're dealing with delta, delta is the D, it's the pyramid. You have one above, one below. Now you're dealing with the magnetic field of the brown. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, Slim. I forgot what the fuck I just said. That's crazy. I say this shit all the time, though. So it really ain't nothing. I just almost failed, and really I don't be thinking, I just speak. Okay? So look. That green energy is representing the heart energy, but it's C. C represents gamma. Delta represents the triangle, which looks like an equilateral triangle, which is represented as a symbol of the pyramid. Okay? But the pyramid is really expressed in 4 different ways, which is your elements, dealing with Ra, the sun. So, we're actually dealing with plasma, because once it interacts with plasma, it denotes. Well, they denote their own type of plasma, even the trees. See? See, like, I control the magnetic field. So it's always a circle, but they're trying to put a sheet. So when the shit move by, you could see the circle mode, but there's always a bird. See the outliner? That sheet just gonna go past, and that opening is just gonna stay open for a nigga, because I'm gonna get my son. I try to tell y'all, when you ground, you become that delta. You denote the energy from the ground, and it sends a carbon footprint / message, and it sends it up to the ethers. Okay? And when it rises to the ethers, what rises comes back down. Now your magnetism, or that G-force, is being pulled to your heart, to your head, to your eye, to your crown, through all your chakras. Okay? But yeah, back to the green and the gamma. The gamma is the green brain wave, the gamma wave. Okay? So C means gamma in Greek. And the symbolism is also whoop-de-whoop. But you know Greek, well, I know Greek is creeks. And that was around Maryland, the DMV area. I mean, it's tribes from the creek, but a lot of that treetop shit, Forest Creek, like those are real neighborhoods in Maryland, okay? And Prince George's County, okay? So, in Prince George's County is like its own shit. Like, Baltimore is Baltimore, but Prince George's County consists of all these little cities, which were like tribes. Okay, so, because treetop, that ties back down to Pyrus and shit. And the blood rights, dealing with Burgundy. Feel me? But yeah, back to this green, that New Balance, right? Okay, back to this green. When you have that delta, it's a triangle. So one triangle above pointed upwards and one triangle pointed downwards. Those are two delta symbols, but it's just representing one above, one below. Now, when you put that together, it's going to start to look like the Star of David, okay? The only thing that's different from the Star of David has the circle around it, which represents the magnetic field or the light. Okay, the circles are not really shapes. Those are magnetic field. When you see a circle, that really just represents a magnetic field. The degrees and the shapes within that circle is what creates different frequencies from different angles of light. Some of those frequencies create light, period. That's the whole thing about this variable or the variant dealing with two or more variables. The first two was the sun, so that denoted a delta variant, okay? And the delta variant changes DNA sequence, okay? So it's either for growth, a neutral effect, you become a positive variant, negative variant, or a neutral variant, meaning nothing happens. Those would be the witnesses, okay? Then you get the positive variants is either niggas activated or didn't activate it, because negative don't always mean a negative thing. A negative can also mean a charge, and a positive can mean a charge too. It's just, what are you getting more charges of, electrons or protons? Because that's going to create a different structure in your body. The way you breathe, what air you need to be in, all types of shit. Because a lot of people who took the shot is going to have to go to the Saturn moon land, which produce a lot of nitrogen. Like, the thing is, people talk about the sun and forget about the helium in the sun. And what does helium do to the density levels? It rises up the frequency. Like, life force low-key becomes helium, which is the He, the H, okay? And what did I say? The ABCD is a parallel flip to EFGH, okay? And when you're dealing with Preparation H, you're dealing with some moon manipulation and some time manipulation. Because even when they put these fake-ass clouds, these coolant agents in the environment, which can also be damaging agents to the DNA while it's going through sequence, these fuck niggas think they're trying to, like, they're doing something, but at the end of the day, them trying to block the sun is still going to make these volcanoes pop. It's still going to create other things, other gases to release, which is why I say this ties back to the Holocaust, because the firmament is the chamber, okay? And they need a chamber to do electrochemical exfoliation, which is making graphene out of graphite. And graphite is tying down to the sarcophagus, the shit that they use in them stones and caskets and everything. What's up, baby B? Watch, he always gonna be around too. It's always the babies. And they come chill with me as long as I'm outside. But anyways, getting back to point. Alright. Alright, now that we got the sound popping, I'm trying to tell y'all stop playing with me. Okay. I can't even see how the sound look from this phone, but usually if you put the phone and look at the reflection on your phone, you can see the two sounds. But anyways, yeah. So being that triangle above, triangle down, also ties back to these US codes because the snake is also a symbol of Delta, and I believe Sigma. It's like some DS shit in this game. So like the US code, the section code symbol is actually a delta above and a delta below. So even though I use the snake looking symbol, one above, one below, it's really the Star of David, one above, one below. But it's talking about the laws that's being manipulated. In my eyes, I feel like now as I'm speaking, above and below, it can be manipulated from the center plane, okay? It can be manipulated dealing with this law. So when you break away, you break away, okay? But if you tie back down to it, it's tying back down to above and below. Like when my license expired, that was like my only contract. So when that bitch expired, it expired. And I guess it started going through this time, the awakening. Like I tell y'all, triangle down, which is the sun's UV, the triangle down on some symbolism shit, that represents the sun. That was 2017 to 2020. Now the crown started to rise, the Kundalini started to rise. So that was 2020, or 2021 pretty much, the 2024. Now we're dealing with the sun again, 2024 all the way to 2027. By 2026, by 2027, 2027, the 9 ether level is going to be settled on a physical state. So it's going to be dealing with your psyche even more, because that's what the physical even is the psyche and the chemical part of you. And goddamn, the mental is going to be dealing with it, because that's the A and the B to everything. It's trinities within everything. So when I say A and B, I'm saying a 1 and a 2, like a 12, because the 12 tribes was divided, okay? But they're always expressed into the whole circle. You know, you got 12 pies, 12 pies, 12 pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so getting back to blank, we're dealing with this 8 ether. So now we're dealing with the chakras above. So physically, even if you wasn't on that shit and you was trying to be, I'm telling you, it's going to start happening naturally. You're going to start seeing more of these beings that you see in your peripherals. You're going to see them more. Do not freak out. Your crown is always going to be aware. Your fear that you feel like is fear, that's really your awareness. It's just don't fear it or try not to, because then that's going to block the message. The only message you're going to get from fear is, I need to go. Standing your ground is respectful when you're shining a different spectrum of light. Okay? This is just some random talk, but we have a lot of shit to talk about. For real, for real. So, the thing is, I don't really be on here. It's some shit I've been knew. I done had helicopters and, you know, the black helicopters where there's no pilots. I done had them flying around me trying to see what the fuck I was doing. And how was I creating a wall of clouds? When I say a wall, them clouds that was forming, they was falling. They was already falling, but I was making a wall. And it was scary looking. Like, y'all could push bottles and shit all day. And I move clouds. And I'm telling y'all how. Even if I'm not telling you, like, this is what you need to go do. I'm telling you how. When you ground, you put that X up, right? You make a Y, anything. And then you have these mudras. One above, one below. You don't know what you're controlling. You're controlling above and you're controlling below. From your pull and your put. From your in and your output. It's connected. That's why the things you do creates life for them, and the things they do create life for you. And creates air, creates consciousness. Why is it creating consciousness? Because it's you, nigga. It's you. So stop playing these games. Connect.